What's going on, guys? Greg here. I got another video for you today. This is, first of all, this is going to be a new camera setup and everything, so hopefully this is going to look a lot better. I'm using my phone from now on, at least until I get another camera. I was using a crappy webcam before. I have a new kind of like a setup here that's holding the camera, a new light and stuff like that. Just trying to make this a little bit better looking overall. So if you like it, let me know what you think down below, or don't. It's okay. I'm just curious. But hopefully it's a little bit of a better quality video. And it's for a really good saber. So this is an MK1 I have completed for Jeff. This is a Proffie 2.2 build, a Shtok illuminated needle pixel connector, and then a full Rudy Pando crystal chamber, along with the Shtok chassis system that's in here, which is it's a really awesome chassis system. I absolutely love it, and it was a really fun build. Like I said, this is actually one of my favorite sabers to build. And so I absolutely love doing that. A couple notes. First of all is that the customer chose a little something to point with here. He has the D-ring at home, so the D-ring is missing, but it is properly aligned for the correct D-ring placement. And the second part is that because I haven't epoxied this in place, there is one grill bead that goes right here. It just epoxies in place, and I wanted to get the video done, so ignore the fact that that's right there. With that being said, one note for you, Jeff, is I do have your blade here. I'm trying to work around my new camera setup. Done by Christian Gale. Did an awesome job. I've already tested it. Looks awesome. And it slides in. I'm using currently a T4 Torx head bit. That is not what size this is. This is not a Torx bit here, but I needed to look up and find out what exactly Allen key that Roman Props uses, so that's whatever goes there. It might have come with the hilt, I don't know, but if not, I can look that up and let you know what the right one is that goes in there. The Torx just happens to fit, and that's what I have. So with that being said, let's get into this really quick. I'm going to get into the normal operation of the saber, and then we'll go into the crystal chamber side of it. So if you want to get to your kill switch, is you undo the booster and the pommel. You can undo just the pommel too. The booster just comes off together with it. So that's gonna go there. You have obviously your entire setup in here. These boards, these covers do snap off if you need them to. I highly recommend you do not, just because there's no need to get in there. But if for some reason you need to, you can. And then down here, you have your kill switch, which slides left to right, obviously, to turn the saber on and off. You have your SD card, which you can pull out with a pair of tweezers like this. And then you have your USB port, which you can use to program the saber, etc. So I'm going to turn this on.
Hello there.
And then I'm going to put the pommel back on. It has pretty good sound considering the fact that it is a closed concept. A lot of the sound venting comes from the holes that are on the side here, as well as there's like some gaps in here to kind of let some sound out. So yeah, one thing to note is that obviously when you're swinging this around, make sure, because this is how your crystal chamber opens, so make sure that it is closed and locked. It locks if you're looking from the top. You rotate it counterclockwise to lock it. So unlock, pull, down, lock. Just something to keep in mind. You don't want to be swinging this around all of a sudden swing it with the chamber open. I mean, it'll be fine. It's just a set screw that's there. But again, you don't want to do that. So with that being said, I have as your auxiliary button is the upper and your power button is the lower. We can swap those if you want. All your normal functions. Jeff, I will send a list of all the functions and how to access them. Shut that off. I still think I'm going to put a different props file on here, which will give you access to like a sound menu and stuff like that. And I will send you instructions on how each button combination works and what to do to access your different modes. That's why I asked you if you had a Proffie beforehand. And I'm going to add so you can control your volume and a couple of other things in here just to make it a little bit of a more whole experience. I'm going to show you the chamber for each one of these. One note to keep in mind is obviously if you're looking at your chamber, your blade will not illuminate because there's a connector here in the neck that disconnects, obviously. And another thing, just for people watching the video, is we went with, I did 2 Obi-Wan fonts. It's the same font, but there were a bunch of different quotes and stuff like that, so I divided into 2 different banks, just to give you some more options. And then we also have an Ahsoka font, a Mace Windu font, I think a Qui-Gon font, a Darksaber font. I know there's a couple more on here that we talked about, and there's also Calibrate, which is a really cool font that I decided to put on here for you, and I took care of it because it's a Crystal Chamber inspired font, and I'll show you when we get to it. So first I'm going to show you the Obi-Wan chamber. One thing to note is that there is this set screw here. If this is too tight or if it's too janky to open and loosen it, you could just loosen this set screw. I have it a little bit tighter because I don't like the chamber to come flying off. That's just me, so it's a little bit more, you know, tight. But either way, let's get into this. So as you can see, here is your crystal chamber. I'm trying to, hopefully the camera's focusing, I can't see it. But it's got a nice real quartz crystal. It's got the Shtok upgrade parts, and then I've weathered it some. Again, there's a light shine directly on it, so it brings out some of the shine. But when you take that shine out of it, it's a really, I think it's really nicely weathered. It's not too dull, but it's not too bright either. So it's a really nice in between. And then that's pulsing when the saber is off. When you turn it on, it's going to mimic your blade, so it's got a little flicker to it. Let's get this here. Sorry, it's not just lined up. So it's going to do all the things that your blade's going to do. You know, all that. And then I'm going to close this back up. And now your emitter is illuminated again. So there you go. So let's go to the next font.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's just the second one, so I'm going to skip past that.
Hello, Master. It's been a while.
Your Ahsoka Tano font. Which has, it looks blue, but it's a silver. Here looks blue because of those are the pixels. But it's like a silver white blade, which is nice. So you can see it's a nice white crystal there.
The dark saber. It belongs to you.
So again, it looks blue, but it's a very nice white blade that's in there, and it's kind of, this one's got a cool, it's a specific dark saber effect actually on it, so I hope you like this one.
Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker with a nice bright green. This one's got a tip flash, so in the movie you can see where the tip of his lightsaber actually kind of illuminates a slightly different color, so I've added that in there just as kind of, you know, cool little feature. Again, taking it off to the side to pull it open just makes it a little bit easier. We got a nice green illuminated crystal.
Anakin Skywalker.
One thing we know before I get into this one is, so in order, the one problem with like any, like the Graflex and the MK1 is the switch setup is kind of a pain. And I've actually probably spent more time working on the bubble strip and the switch setup than I have on the programming of the Saber, believe it or not, because it has to be so perfect where when you close the clamp, it changes the distance and the height. So in order for this to work really well, I have the clamp set to a certain close distance, and then these have to be pretty much perfectly lined up, and they work well every time. Nice button feedback. But because of, if I have another, I don't have another bubble strip here, but on the underside of the bubble strip, these bubbles are actually hollowed out a little bit. And so that can cause some issues if it's mislined up where it won't reach the button properly. So if you're having issues, just make sure that the button is, you know, that the clamp card is lined up, and that'll give you nice feedback every time. So I skipped past the Anakin one. This is a Vader font. It's a nice red. This is particular. I went with this Rogue One font. I think the hallway scene with the music is really cool. If you don't like the Rogue One, let me know and we'll swap it out for a different. Oops, I don't need that. Open. And again, nice red crystal here, nicely illuminated. There you go. And this is the other Vader font. So I forgot that we had two, so that's why. So we skipped that. That's an episode 6 font.
Master Windu.
Your Master Windu one that you wanted. Nice purple blade. and then Calibrate. So this one is, I just love this font so much. It was by Mad Cow, where it's not made to sound like a blade necessarily, but it's supposed to be like all these sounds of if you were working on your crystal chamber. So yeah, there's, so it's all sorts of cool, like different noises for if you're working in a chamber. It's just something different to add in. And it's kind of a cool shelf mode if you want someone to if you want to open it up and turn that font on. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to pop back to the main.
Ben Kenobi?
And I'm going to toss your blade in here. Again, with the new setup, it's usually I have a smaller blade, but because this is a thin neck that has a recessed neck, it's a little bit harder to what am I trying to say here? To swing the blade around with a full blade. So do that. I'm going to tighten this down. With this, it's only thumb tight, especially with this one, Jeff, because this is such a small set screw. You don't want to start cranking it down. As soon as you strip that, you're not going to have a good time. So just, thumb tight. This should stay in place. Due to the nature of this being a thin neck saber and the crystal chamber, I mean, this is going to be rated for light dueling only. It's not the thin neck and the blade depth and stuff like that. They just are not good for full contact dueling. So that's one thing just to keep in mind is swinging around, having some fun. Obviously go for it, but don't go start dueling with this thing like it's a baseball bat. All right, so let's get the blade in here. So you got a nice full blade, and then I'm gonna try and, so it might not show it on the video, but this is a nice like so the blaster will actually change where it hits depending on the angle of the saber, and then I'm trying to get that to stay. So again, this is going to change location based off of how the saber is tilted. And the color we went there was based off of the original trilogy. Just close this out. Sorry, it's because the button got stuck here. There we go. A little easier there. There we go. And so the color we went with there was from the original trilogy. It is like an orange, yellowy, white color that we use for the blade lockups and the clashes. And again, it's based off the actual movie colors, which is really nice. So hopefully you're happy with that. And like I said, if not, they're, how do I phrase it? They're intimidating at first to learn how to program, but after you get the hang of it, they are very easy to program. You can go through, I make changes, like that. Granted, I've done a number of them. I've done quite a number of them. But once you get used to it, it really is very easy to go through. If you want to change your colors, if you want to change some of your effects, excuse me, if you want to change, some of the effects in your crystal chamber, anything you want, it's very easy to do once you get used to it. So I'll be here to help you through that. It's like I said, it's a little bit of work, but it's well worth it to learn for sure. And yeah, so I think that's everything on this one. Like I said, it's all the fonts we've gone through, the setup. There's no real big safety concerns in terms of like some sabers I'll have to tell them, to watch out for certain things. The chassis doesn't come out at all, so you can't really screw it up. I am gonna send you home with, I have a charger here, and then I'm going to send you home with a 2.1 to 1.3 millimeter recharge port adapter, which you're just going to toss in. I'm going to show you really quick. And this will be fully charged before it comes home, obviously. Take the blade out. Show you really quick here. I'm going to take just the pommel off. So again, your recharge port right here. I'll have an adapter that's going to go onto your charger. The charger just going to start red and then it goes green when it's fully charged. Pretty simple. Promise you can figure it out. And obviously you want the saber on, so the switch to be
Hello there.
like this. when you go to charge it. That way you make sure, I mean, it'll charge anyways because of the way that I've wired it, but just to, you know, for peace of mind, you should do that anyways. And that's really it. Like I said, I will get this last piece put on here, and then everything else is good to go. Jeff, I know you were patient with me. Shapeways was kind of a pain here. I'm gonna open this up because it's fun to look at the crystal chamber. Shapeways was kind of a pain. It took a little while to get this thing ready to go and to you, but so I know there's a little bit of a delay, and I appreciate you being patient with that. Like I said, it's tough sometimes, and you were a great customer, so I appreciate that because it makes my life a million times easier. So like I said, I hope you love her. I hope it's everything you were looking for. I love doing this build. I really do. It's so much fun, and I was really looking forward to doing it. And I love the new upgrades of the crystal chamber that Rudy did. He added some, you know, some extra slots and milling here and here, just to give it a little bit more of a standout look, and I really, really like it. Because I have mine, I'm looking at it on the shelf above the camera, and it doesn't look quite as good. So I'm glad you got that new chamber. It looks awesome, and like I said, I really hope you love this. And if you have any questions, concerns, issues, obviously hit me up, let me know, and we will take care of you. All right? Thanks. Have a good one.